What's something everybody thinks is a myth or rumor, but is actually completely true? Elephants being afraid of mice is the one time I was completely wrong about a myth on Mythbusters. They went all the way to Africa to test the myth on wild elephants, and I was positive that this was the biggest waste of time, and then the elephant completely lost its shit when they released the mouse. Amazing. The way I thought about it is that there are plenty of humans that freak the duck out over a spider, so that doesn't seem so crazy. If I remember right, it's not that they're afraid of mice specifically, it's that their vision isn't great and anything sufficiently small and in motion frightens them because it's moving, and they can't identify what it is. If you watch the video, they flip over the same piece of dung with no mouse to try to test and see if the motion of the dung is what startles the elephant, but the elephants only cared when there was a mouse. You're probably not wrong, but afraid of small living things is close enough to the myth for me. Similar thing recently they did. Sharks get the hell away from the smell of dead shark. After so many failed shark repellents, I was sure they were all myths. I know there are fish that release a chemical when they get injured or die called Skrekstoff. Skrekstoff translates to scary stuff. This acts as an alarm signal for other fish in the area. Does that mean Shrek means scary? That pineapples grow on the ground, not in trees, and you grow them by planting the top of the pineapple. It's possible for a woman to get pregnant whilst already very pregnant. Edit. It's called superfetation, and to be fair, it can apparently only happen in the first trimester, so I suppose very pregnant is not a particularly appropriate term. I mean, I can't imagine when very pregnant every would be appropriate, but you get it. I knew this one already, but it's extremely rare. It can result in a set of twins from different fathers. My mother-in-law is a teacher and had students that had this happen. Here's hoping she's not an elementary school teacher. Lol, she is, but I said it wrong. She had 2 students that were twins with different fathers. That shaving doesn't cause your hair to grow back thicker and coarser. It's a myth, in a way, but not in the way you think. Hair grows from the root and naturally tapers to a point at the end. When you cut it, you expose the middle of that hair, leaving a flat stub. This causes coarseness and more visibility. This is why women don't shave their face. Yep. Blunt-ended hair can make the ends look thicker. Another piece of ridiculousness is any thin conditioner that tells you it makes your hair healthy. Hair is only alive at the root. A conditioner can make your hair seem softer or more lustrous, but it isn't actually doing anything for the follicle. Also, people shouldn't about how many hairs they shed or find in the drain, but how many grow back. I heard Rob Schneider goes down to Home Depot and pays migrant workers to go to his house and choke him in the shower. How awful and true. The birthday problem, that in a room with 23 people, there is a 50% chance that 2 people share a birthday. My dad told me about this from a statistics class in college and even drew it out for me on a piece of paper. I accept it, but I have a hard time believing it, if that makes sense. 23 just seems like such a small sample size to get that kind of certainty. 23 people is 253 pairs of people. First person has 22 people he could share a birthday with. Next person 21, then 20. 22 plus 21 plus 20 plus 19, and so on equals 253. 2 US dollar bills are still regularly printed. Only 2 of them? Consuming poppy seeds can indeed make you fail a drug test. There's a woman who won $1 million who proved this by suing a firm that decided not to hire her based on her drug testing results. She either got very lucky she had kept the receipt for the poppy seed muffin, or she was very cunning in setting up the company to deny her employment, while also being very lucky that they stupidly told her that was the reason. Most people think that the government doing things such as discrediting targets through psychological warfare, smearing individuals and groups using forged documents, and by planting false reports in the media, harassment, wrongful imprisonment, and illegal violence, including assassination, is just a conspiracy theory, but this was all confirmed to happen under the FBI's COINTELPRO program, which officially ran from 1956 to 1971. It eventually got shut down when citizens broke into a Pennsylvania FBI office and recovered proof of the program's existence, which they gave to the press, and led to the church committee investigating the program. Unfortunately, most of the things that the program did are widely considered as having continued. The program itself was mostly about consolidation of efforts, as the FBI did most of that stuff since its creation in 1908. Yes. And Project MK Ultra, a secret 20-something year psychological experiment by the US government on willing and unwilling citizens with the end goal of mind control. Some subjects were locked in a room and forced to take high doses of LSD for over 70 days straight. One of the craziest things I've ever heard about. We only use 10% of the spiders we eat in our sleep. MSG is perfectly fine to eat and has no adverse effects on health. In general, it has no adverse effects. Yes, I get it, some people have reactions to it, but then again the same happens for many foods. There are plenty of articles to be read if you just Google MSG is not bad, but taking a step back, MSG is. MSG stands for monosodium glutamate. So sodium, everybody knows what that is, the first ingredient in common table salt. The main reason MSG originally got a bad rap was based on a 1960s study by John Alney, because he would get headaches after eating a particular Chinese restaurant. Every time I see a Chinese buffet with no MSG, I'm like, damn it, now how am I supposed to eat? I love MSG. MSG equals makes stuff good. That loud cursing helps people to tolerate pain better. If any man dies with a clean sword, I will wrap his ducking corpse. Duck the water, bring me wine, and every ducking chicken in this room. The Monty Hall paradox. You are given a choice of 3 doors, behind one of which is a prize, and behind the other 2 are zonks. The host then opens the door for one of the zonks that you did not pick. The host will then give you a choice to switch doors, or keep the one you chose. It is statistically better to switch. However, the contestant is less likely to do so, because people are naturally inclined to stick with their original choice. The reason that this is so is because the door that was chosen has a 1/3 chance of being the prize, and the other 2 doors together have a 2 out of 3 chance of being the prize. Once a zonk is revealed, the one remaining unchosen door still has a 2 out of 3 chance of being a car. The Mythbusters also tested this empirically. Adam and Jamie each played the scenario 100 times, one of whom always stayed, the other always switched. The one who switched got the prize about 66% of the time, and the one who always stayed won the prize about 33% of the time. I hate this one so much. Trying to think about it like a normal person gets you the wrong answer. There's 2 ducking doors and only one has a prize behind it. It should be a 50-50 chance. But the math, frustratingly enough, checks out. The key is that the host cannot eliminate the door with the prize behind it. Therefore, if the first door you have chosen, if the wrong door, which will happen 2 out of 3 of the time, he must eliminate the door without the prize, so switching will guarantee you the prize door. I have a dream was not part of Dr. Martin Luther King's original speech. Wakefulness during anesthesia. Many people I know write it off as a dream or false memory, but patients absolutely can and do have periods of wakefulness, if not straight up consciousness, when under anesthesia during surgery. It is very rare, and usually memory is suppressed, but it actually can and does happen. The CIA helped introduce crack into the US. They even released a report detailing it. It was in the Kerry Committee report. Edit. Substitute crack with contraband. After World War II, there were rumors that plans existed to turn World War II into World War III, with the Western Allies going on the offensive against the Soviet Union. These rumors were generally regarded as nothing more than simply that, rumors. Then, in the late 90s, after the disintegration of the Soviet Union, a series of documents were declassified and released to the public. Turns out, the rumors were true. On Churchill's orders, plans had been developed for just such an occurrence. Codenamed Operation Unthinkable, the plans were one of the first steps into the Cold War. It was a contingency plan. I don't see how that's shocking in the least. It's called preparedness. The name of the operation lays its intentions bare. Seems like you're trying to demonize it. In a vacuum, objects fall at the same speed regardless of weight. The darker the coffee, the less caffeine it has. So lighter roasts equals more caffeine. I've always been amazed at the high level of placebo effect I see on this one. Friends call bullshit, say I'm wrong and the dark roasts really wake me up. They all think I just make this up. to make them look stupid. I was taught in school that everyone thinks pandas are bears, but they're actually raccoons. Come to find out, everybody thinks pandas are raccoons, but they're actually bears. Polar bear fur is transparent, and their skin is black. To be precise, their hair is hollow. In order to better insulate them, it appears white, not because it reflects the snow. Polar bears in rocky environments are still white, but because light is reflected and refracted by the hairs irrespective of wavelength. Also, polar bear can get algae infections inside their hairs, which makes them appear green. Literally this whole thread is about Mythbuster episodes.